the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Roll call, Mrs. Beal.
Hamburger.
Here.
Kalinsek.
Here.
Landman.
Here.
Meadows.
Here.
Raymond. Renzi.
Here.
Mr. Sutton.
Present.
7 board members.
I'd like to have a motion to adopt the agenda with the addendum and remove 1A on the agenda.
Motion.
Second. Question on the motion. All those in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion carries. Recognition of visitors and guests. Anybody in the audience wants to make a comment on the agenda, please stand and let us know. Here you are. Nobody? Let's move on. Approval of the minutes of the regular meeting of February 15th, 2023.
So moved.
Second.
Question on the motion. All those in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion carries. Approval of the minutes of the regular meeting of February 15th, 2023.
Second.
Question on the motion. All those in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion carries. Approval of the attendance records of committee meetings and work sessions. The work session on March 13th, 2023. That should be March 15th. Question on the motion. All those in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion carries. If televised, this meeting will be televised on Atlantic Broadband, Channel 17, and YouTube, South Union Township Television. It also is live streamed. Superintendent's report, Dr. Wallace.
Thank you, Mr. Sefton. And first, I would like to congratulate Dr. Scott and Marshall Elementary School. The North Union class of 1961 donated $1,000 to Marshall. I'm sure you put that to good use, and we'd like to thank the class of 1961 for that donation. Thank you very much. Also, we'd like to congratulate Valentina Galino. Mr. Galino, congratulations. She has been recognized by the Intermediate Unit 1 Student Forum as a scholar leader. So we'd like to congratulate Valentina Galino for her participation in our Student Voice program and being recognized by the IU as a scholar leader. Congratulations to Valentina Galino. Also, I would like to thank and recognize Mr. Miller and all the staff and students that are in our Student Voice program. As such, excuse me, they have received the Jefferson Award in recognition of outstanding leadership in public service. And the Jefferson Award was created in 1972 by the American Institute for Public Service. And these awards are given to those who are unaware that they're even being considered, and that whole Student Voice program that we have throughout the district is recognized for that. So we'd like to congratulate all of our staff and students and Mr. Miller for a great program. Mr. Suffolk, that concludes my report at this point.
Thank you, Dr. Wallace. Academic Foundation report, Mr. Klensick.
Thank you, Mr. Sefton. The Academic Foundation recently took part in the high school production of Chicago this past weekend. The foundation would like to thank all patrons, sponsors, and volunteers for the successful weekend. That concludes my reports.
Thank you, Mr. Klensick. Comprehensive Strategic Plan and Board Policy Committee, Mr. DeAndrea.
I'd like to make a motion to approve the revision to the Federal Fiscal Compliance Policy, Exhibit A.
So moved.
Question on the motion. All those in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion carries.
That concludes my report.
Thank you, Mr. DeAndrea. Curriculum Committee, Mr. Landman.
Thank you, Mr. Shepley. Under C1A, putting a motion to permission to post summer school and ESY positions. That's under Exhibit B. Please note the middle school summer school will be held at the high school this summer due to the new window construction project. All remediation class fees are being paid for through the required ESS others set-aside grant funding. I'd like to put that in form of a motion.
I'll second.
Question on the motion. All those in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion carries.
C2 is informational. Online kindergarten registration is launched on our website for the 2023-24 school year. Parents will first complete the registration online, and then parents will be contacted by the elementary school to schedule their kindergarten screening, which will take place in May. As a reminder, all children being registered for kindergarten must be 5 years old on or before August 31st, 2023. There are no exceptions. C3 is also informational. Laurel Highlands continues to monitor and analyze which pre-K programs incoming kindergarten students attend. The average scores on our kindergarten screener and the number of students, the families report, attending a pre-K program prior to kindergarten. We're proud to announce that the number of families that reported their child did not attend a pre-K program dropped significantly for the 2022-23 school year. Our numbers have averaged 30 to 35, but this year only 11 families reported that they did not attend a pre-K program. This is the lowest number ever. That's under Exhibit C. I'd like to put in the form of a motion C4A, the approval of the PDE required K-12 guidance plan number 339. This is located on our district website for anyone wishing to review the plan.
I'll second.
Question on the motion, all those in favor? Aye. Those opposed, motion carries.
Under C5, this is also informational. The Meaty Mighty Mustangs and the middle school provided an outstanding literacy event on March 8th. Thank you, Bobby Downs, Tricia Boland, and all the LH staff members and students who helped to make this event a success for their families. Under C6, this is also informational. Laurel Highlands School District continues to provide transition activities at all levels. These will be posted on the district website at www.lhsd.org. That's under Exhibit D. Under C7, this is also informational. The federal programs coordinators of the Fayette, Westmoreland, and Greene County held their annual parent and staff retreat at Lakeside on the 15th of March, 2023. Mr. Sepik, that concludes my
Thank you, Mr. Lamon. Buildings and Grounds Committee, Mr. Meadows.
I'd like to thank Mr. Polino for his report. I have nothing further, Mr. Secretary.
Thank you, Mr. Meadows. Finance, Budget, and Taxation Committee, Mr. DeAndrea.
I'd like to make a motion for the Bank Reconciliation Board Summary Report, Exhibit E.
Question on the motion, all those in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed, motion carries.
I'd like to make a motion for the payment of bills, Exhibit F.
Question on the motion, roll call, Kim?
Mr. DeAndrea?
Yes.
Mr. Renzi?
Yes.
Mrs. Beal?
Yes.
Mr. Meadows?
Yes.
Mr. Kalinsik?
Yes.
Mr. Lamon?
Yes.
Mr. Sepik?
Yes.
7 yeas.
I'd like to make a motion for the payment of GOB bills, Exhibit G.
Question on the motion, roll call?
Mr. DeAndrea?
Yes.
Mr. Renzi?
Yes.
Mr. Meadows?
Yes.
Mr. Lamon?
Yes.
Mr. Kalinsik?
Yes.
Mrs. Beal? Mr. Sepik?
Yes.
7 yeas.
Next is the investment report. It's informational. It's Exhibit H. To make a motion for the federal report, Exhibit I.
Question on the motion, roll call?
Mr. DeAndrea?
Yes.
Mr. Renzi?
Yes.
Mr. Lamon?
Yes.
Mr. Kalinsik?
Yes.
Mrs. Beal? Mr. Meadows?
Yes.
Mr. Sepik?
Yes.
7 yeas.
I'd like to make a motion to approve the student activity and athletic funds, Exhibit J.
Question on the motion, all those in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed, motion carries.
I'd like to make a motion to approve Somerset Trust Company as our financial institution to serve the banking needs of the Laurel Highlands School District. There are no service charges or fees and will save the district approximately $20,000 per year.
Question on the motion, roll call?
Mr. DeAndrea?
Yes.
Mr. Renzi?
Yes.
Mr. Kalinsik?
Yes.
Mrs. Beal? Mr. Meadows?
Yes.
Mr. Lamon?
Yes.
Mr. Sepik?
Yes.
7 yeas.
That concludes my report, Mr.
Thank you,
Sepik.
Mr. DeAndrea. Health, Nutrition, and Foods Committee, Mrs. Beal. Cafeteria report. What's that? You want me to do it?
I'll do it.
I'd like to have a motion for the cafeteria report under Exhibit K.
I'll move.
Question on the motion, all those in favor? Those opposed, motion carries. Approval of the revised health and safety plan, Exhibit L.
I'll move.
Second.
Question on the motion, all those in favor? Those opposed, motion carries. Security and Safety Committee, Mr. Renzi.
Mr. Shepard, Mr. DeAndrea, and myself have nothing for this evening.
Thank you very much, sir. Transportation Committee, Mr. DeAndrea.
I'd like to make a motion to approve additional drivers for M&R Transportation, Exhibit M.
Second.
Question on the motion, all those in favor? Those opposed, motion carries.
That concludes my report.
Thank you, Mr. DeAndrea. Human Resources Committee, Mr. Kalensik.
Thank you, Mr. Sepik. Under P1, I'd like to put in the form of a motion to approve additional substitute teachers found in Exhibit N.
Second.
Question on the motion, all those in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed, motion carries.
Under P2, I'd like to put in the form of a motion for the selection of John Trusky for the middle school math, social studies position at the middle school per the collective bargaining agreement and effective immediately. This is step 12 with the old step 2 per education level.
I'll second.
Question on the motion,
Actually, I-
roll call.
I just wanted to say that I was at the
Yes, go ahead.
interviews, and he was an exceptional candidate, and we had an opportunity to steal him from another district at that bargain price of basically step 2. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. DeAndrea. Roll call.
Mr. Kalensik.
Yes.
Mr. DeAndrea.
Yes.
Mrs. Beal.
Yeah.
Mr. Lamon.
Yes.
Mr. Meadows.
Yes.
Mr. Renzi.
Yes.
Mr. Sepik.
Yes.
7 yeas.
Under P3, under request for retirements, other leaves, resignations, I'd like to put in the form of a motion to accept with regret the retirement of Mr. William Blaschek, grade 6 science teacher at the middle school. Effective the day after the last day of the 2022-23 school year, Mr. Blaschek has 32 years of dedicated service to the district. He will be using accumulated sick days from March 6, 2023 until June 2nd, 2023.
We'd like to congratulate Mr. Glaschak on his years with the district.
Okay, is that your motion?
Seconded.
Question on the motion, all those in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed, motion carries.
Under P4, I'd like to put in the form of approval for Dr. Jesse Wallace to attend the Superintendent's Forum in Bedford Springs, April 3rd through the 5th, 2023. There is no cost to the district other than mileage and possibility of 2 meals.
I'll second it.
Question on the motion, all those in favor? Those opposed, motion carries.
Thank you.
Under P5, I'd like to put in the form of a motion to approve additional substitute employees for support personnel found in Exhibit N. This includes service personnel, clerical personnel, security, paraprofessionals, health room aides, and technical support staff.
I'll second it.
Question on the motion, all those in favor? Those opposed, motion carries.
Under P6, I'd like to put in the form of a motion to approve the retirement of Mrs. Rita Walensky, Assistant Payroll Administration Office, effective December 21st, 2023, and permission to post the position. Mrs. Walensky has 16-plus years of dedicated service to the district. She will be using accumulated sick, personal, and vacation days from July 10th through December 21st, 2023.
I'll second it.
Question on the motion, all those in favor? Those opposed, motion carries.
And I work with Rita every day, and she's a pleasure to have in the office, and we wish her the very best moving forward. And we hope for the very best in her retirement, and thank you for your service to the district.
And under P7, I'd like to put in the form of a motion to approve the paraprofessional update found in Exhibit O.
Second.
Question on the motion, all those in favor? Those opposed, motion carries.
And that concludes my report, Mr.
Thank you,
Sepik.
Mr. Clancy. Athletic and Extracurricular Activities Committee, Mr. Lamon.
Thank you, Mr. Sepik. Like, under AE1A, put the form of a motion to approve the request by Coach Bradley Yohman for volunteer baseball coaches Patrick Lyon, Hudson Novak, and Greg Lancaster.
I'll second.
Question on the motion, roll call.
Mr. Lamon.
Yes.
Mr. Kalensik.
Yes.
Mr. DeAndrea.
Yes.
Mrs. Beal.
Yeah.
Mr. Renzi.
Yes.
Mr. Meadows.
Yes.
Mr. Sepik.
Yes.
7 yeas.
All clearances in, Kim?
Yes.
Thank you.
I'd like to put in the form of a motion to approve bids for the fall sports that's under Exhibit P, and you can, that's for the 22-23-24 school year.
I'll second.
Question on the motion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion carries.
Under AE, this informational annual school picnic at Kennywood has been set for Saturday, May 6, 2023. Ticket information will be available and on display in the buildings and online for purchase of the event. Also, Mr. John sends us an annual report of winter sports. He'll give us that update in April. However, just want to make mention that the girls' basketball team made the playoffs. The swimmers are competing right now in a PAA event, and also congratulations to Coach Hogger on winning his 600th game here at Laurel Highlands, and on Rodney Gallagher for breaking the school record held by Nick Bosnick. And on Tuesday night, last night, Rodney scored his 2,000th point here at Laurel Highlands. So I'd like to give them a round of applause. And again, there'll be an update in April on the individual awards for the winter sports. And also tomorrow night, Laurel Highlands plays, Friday night, I believe, Lincoln Park at Norwood. Is that correct, Gary?
That's correct.
And also, best of luck to the spring sports, the boys baseball team, girls softball team, and the boys and girls track team. They officially started practice last Monday, so we wish them best of luck in the upcoming season. And Mr. Suffolk, that concludes my report.
Thank you, Mr. Lamon. Legal advisement, Mr. Frankhauser.
Under L1, we're asking the board for this annual approval, and this would only be if necessary to allow the superintendent to make the necessary notifications without any actual promise that there would be any furloughs, to provide the necessary information to those affected employees for reduction of programs and economic reasons. We may never have to send this out. We haven't done it very often, but this allows us to do this in anticipation of budget issues only if necessary. So that's the request for this approval.
And likewise, there would be no action taken unless it was board approved.
Correct.
I have to meet guidelines by the state in order to do this.
That is correct.
I'll make the motion.
Question on the motion? Roll call.
Mr. DeAndrea?
Yes.
Mr. Renzi?
Yes.
Mr. Meadows?
Yes.
Mr. Lamon?
Pass.
Mr. Kalinsik?
Yes.
Mrs. Beal?
Yes.
Mr. Suffolk?
Pass.
5
5-2.
yeas, 2 pass.
Next item for approval, and Mr. Chris Brewer is here, our bond counsel, to further explain the necessity. We have previously approved the resolution for the bond issue that is pending. Certain circumstances occurred that will require us to make an addendum to that bond resolution. I gave him a little bit of the background, Chris, prior to you being here, but if you want to add whatever you need to do and get the approval of the board, this is your opportunity.
Thank you very much. It's good to see you all. I'm Chris Brewer, and it's good to see you all. I've worked as your bond counsel before. Very quickly, the market has been very erratic and up and down. We're trying to get a refunding of the 2013 bonds accomplished. I think Alicia Henry from PNC has been here for a couple of presentations. When they proceeded through a rating review process with Standard & Poor's for this issue, like it's been done many times in the past, the answers and the review came back pretty negative. So PNC decided on a new approach where we would go over to Moody's Investor Services rating agency, and under a program they have, submit to try to get your rating improved on A1. Ratings on bonds, like credit scores on loans you have yourself in your personal finance, the better the score, the higher the rating, the lower the interest rates. And so this is all about trying to get you low rates in the savings. So Moody's is cooperating and will issue that sort of improved rating over the Standard & Poor's rating. But their requirements are that we restyle this resolution so that you make the same bond payments, but you've got to make them at least 15 days in advance of when they are regularly due, which is not a big deal. It'll all be in the budget. The 15 days, and we'll have a separate agreement with your paying agent bank, the 15 days is to provide a notice period. In the event there was some kind of shortfall or difficulty with the payment, the paying agent bank has an opportunity to get to the state to provide for the state intercept. The Commonwealth of Pennsylvania backs bonds from all school districts. And by making your payment early, some of the mechanics and procedures could be augmented if necessary. None of this is expected. We've certainly done this for other clients before. The Moody's people just sort of have a program. If you'll, check these boxes, then you can get an A1 rating. Earlier today, the insurance company that we've used in the past came forward with a commitment for bond insurance. And if you've been following the market of late, especially after the failure of the Silicon Valley Bank and some other banking issues, the stock market's been very erratic, but the overall pressure, no promises here, the overall pressure has been downward on interest rates. What's been happening in the taxable marketplace hasn't yet carried over into tax-exempt. But, this is PNC's bailiwick, not mine, I think our timing may be good. Right now, we're scheduled to go into the bond market for the bond sale next week. So if you were in agreement with the bond refinancing attempt last time, then we'd like you to pass this revised resolution to sort of square up with the rating agency and put us in the best position possible. As before, PNC is not going to sell these bonds unless they're going to hit your target minimum savings. And obviously, if we can get above that, then that's all the district's good. Try to keep it succinct. But I wanted you to have a flavor of it. I don't know if Mr. Hench has talked with you about some of this in the past as well. So, and I guess, Dr. Wallace, you may have been on the call with S&P.
Yes.
Questions for me as your bond attorney?
We briefly discussed some of this in executive session, so they're up to speed
We're up
to
to
a little
speed on
bit. We brought them up.
And I knew you had prior, I was shooting for 6 o'clock, so.
Thank you.
Okay.
Well, basically, what you're saying, so everybody understands, is that it's a better chance of us saving more money.
Yes.
And that's
Yes. If we
Okay.
don't make this change and you end up offering the bonds in the marketplace at the lower rating, it means a different thing for the investors. Either you don't have as wide an audience of investors, or they're looking for a little more yield because they perceive the risk. So we're trying to make the credit and the transaction look as good as it can look to the investors.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You have that resolution?
Yeah, it was sent to Mr. Hench
It's the
electronically.
first page of the very first item you had in your agenda packet. There's a thick.
Yeah, it is the
looks
same
like this. Laurel
resolution.
Highlands School District summary notice under local government under debt act. It would have been the first.
We didn't give them that.
That's right. I did not give you all that. No. This is a copy of it here. We didn't copy one for everyone because of the amount of paper, but what's in this document is what Mr. Brewer has just described. That's the resolution. We're changing from Standards & Poor's to Moody's. This will have us a better chance to save more money through this. But I have a copy right here for anyone who wants to see.
And
it.
I've got a couple
We did
paper
not
copies if you'd like. I
make
didn't bring,
copies for everybody there on that.
we
The
tend to go
only reason I
electronic
asked
anymore.
was if in fact the board does approve this, it would be prudent to have that signed and give to Mr. Brewer tonight
I've got a few signature pages, yep.
so that can move forward.
It is the
This is
same
an action
basic
item right
resolution
here.
as you've passed before for your bond financings.
We're
It's the
on
same one you passed a month
Approval
ago,
of addendum to bond
Ex-
resolution.
except we worked in these payment dates and these other arrangements and triggers in the document. It's a security document, so it now provides how the paying agent would go about collecting money and do these other things.
Okay, we're good.
Okay.
Thank you. Yeah, okay, we need a
I'll make a
motion to
motion.
approve L2A.
I'll make the motion to approve it.
Question on the motion, roll call?
Mr. DeAndrea?
Yes.
Mrs. Beal?
Yes.
Mr. Kalinsik?
Yes.
Mr. Lamon?
Yes.
Mr. Meadows?
Yes.
Mr. Renzi?
Yes.
Mr. Suffolk?
Yes.
7 yeas.
L3A, approval of contract for a confidential employee.
Second?
Question on the motion, roll call?
Mr. Renzi?
Yes.
Mr. DeAndrea?
Yes.
Mrs. Beal? Mr. Kalinsik?
Yes.
Mr. Lamon?
Yes.
Mr. Meadows?
Yes.
Mr. Suffolk?
Yes.
7 yeas.
Grievances, do we have any grievances to speak about?
Just a matter that I had discussed in executive session regarding the pending arbitration, and we'll keep you posted on the process of that matter. No other solicitors report.
All right, thank you. Under the addendum, under 2A, approved request by head coach Patrick Livingston for volunteer softball coaches for the 2023 season, Mike Barry and John Cooper. You made a motion, second. Question on the motion? All those in favor? Aye. Those opposed? Motion carries. Those, they all have clearances?
Yes.
Thank you. Do we have anybody in public comment? If you have a comment, please stand up and let us know what your name is and what the comment would be. Okay, we're clear? Career and Technical Institute report, gentlemen, ladies.
We were at the playoff game. We didn't attend the last meeting.
I was there for
Oh.
briefly. There was no other additional action. I would report that the grant for the Health Institute is progressing, and we did approve the obtaining a bridge loan for it's basically a drawdown, a loan that can be used to fund the project pending the receipt of the grant money. So that's the biggest project that's happening at the CTI.
Thank you, Mr. Frankhauser. Do we have a motion to adjourn?
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Do we have a second? Do we have a second?
Second.
Question on the motion, all those in favor? Aye. Those opposed? Motion carries.
I would say anybody that needs any copies of the exhibits, I have them, so anybody can get those as needed.
I brought it to Lauren.
Okay, we started a little